Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, everyone. Great evening. Great evening or good afternoon to everyone. All right. I hope that everybody out there is doing absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. I'm going to get right on into it. My name is Miss Sasha. For those of you who do not know who I am, I have been coming on here. It's probably been over a month now, and I've been bringing back the read alouds. So I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit organization called ABC Read. And what we do is our mission is to develop and nurture a culture of literacy in Black and underserved communities. And we do that by giving books to the community that are majority representative of the community that we serve, which are Black and underserved people, right? Underserved folks, because there's a high level of illiteracy in the Black community, and that was done on purpose. All right, it's a systemic issue. It was something that was created so that Black people can be in a permanent underclass, ignorant state, so that we can have an enslaved mindset, because we are the descendants of those kidnapped Africans. And one of the ways in which you enslave a people is you deny them the right to be able to learn, the ability to read, to write, to thrive as a human being. And so what we are doing, what ABC Read is doing, is we are doing the best that we can here in the city of Cleveland to eradicate the dismemberment of us being connected to the rich culture of literacy that our ancestors in Africa had set the tone for. All right. So we've given away over 6,000 books and counting. Inshallah, God willing, our goal is to give away 10,000 books by the end of this year. And alhamdulillah, praise is due to God. The goals that we have been setting, we have been achieving. Last year, the goal was 5,000 books, and we achieved that goal over that. And now, again, the goal for this year is to be able to distribute 10,000 plus books by the end of this year. The books that we give away, like I said, are books like this. All right. And also books like this. Okay. So as you see, we give away books that is going to be for the whole family. So we don't just focus on children, we focus on the whole community, because it's an all hands on deck type of thing. All right. So with that being said, now it is time for me to introduce the book. All right. So the book here that I have for this evening is Shirley Chisolm Dared. Okay. Shirley Chisolm Dared. This is the story of the first Black woman in Congress. And the authors of this book, Alicia D. Williams and April Harrison. And I have to give a shout out to Dr. Swad. Dr. Swad has been one of our biggest donors. She is a literacy warrior. She is an educator, been in the game for years upon years upon years. Okay. All right, promoting that literacy, educating our community. And one of the things that she's been doing for ABC Read is she's been donating books to us so that we can give out to the community. And this is one of the books that she donated. And I read this book because I had never heard of this book. And of course, as we all know, for those of you who don't know, there's like a movie. I don't want to call it's not a documentary. It's like some movie that they've done on Shirley Chisolm, and Regina King is playing her, and I think it's on Netflix. And so, of course, when they have stuff out, then that's when you start seeing an uptick, like in people putting books out on that person. And now you're going to see a resurgence of whatever books or whatever articles or different things on that person. And so this book right here, I love the way that it was written. And I believe that you all will agree as well. And I'm going to go ahead and dig right on in to Shirley Chisolm Dared. All right. Meet 3-year-old Shirley St. Hill, a busy little girl who asks way too many questions. She and her immigrant parents along with her two baby sisters, live in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, one they can hardly afford. Seeing that Shirley needs room to run, her mother thinks it might be a good idea to take her to grandma's. Plus, they'll save money. So the girls and their mother board an old steamship in New York Harbor and set off for Barbados. After 9 days, the family arrives to welcoming hugs and kisses. But just as the island's smells and sounds start to feel familiar to Shirley, it's time for Mother to say goodbye. Still, Shirley doesn't settle into sadness. Oh no, she has work to do. Though she's younger and tinier than her cousins, she's just as strong. She hauls buckets of well water to thirsty cows, pigs, and goats. Shirley even bosses her cousins around. When classes start in the British one-room schoolhouse, 4-year-old Shirley proudly sits on the front bench and won't budge. That girl is daring. Back in the States, the Great Depression begins. Many people lose their jobs and can't afford homes or food. Mother makes little as a seamstress and father as a baker's helper. But they miss their daughter's laughter bouncing off the walls so much that after 6 years, they bring the girls home. Shirley moves back to Brooklyn. At PS 84, the principal introduces Shirley to her new classroom. 3rd grade. Hasn't she already learned 3rd grade reading, writing, and arithmetic? Sure, she's only 9 years old, but in Barbados, she had just been promoted to 6th grade. Sorry, but you don't know American social studies or geography, the principal tells her. In no time, Shirley is bored and restless. She snaps rubber bands at kids' heads. She flicks spitballs when the teacher turns her back. Finally, the school assigns her an American history tutor. And just over a year later, Shirley proudly sits in the 8th grade. Every day over dinner, her father asks what she's learned. Every day, Shirley offers details. And every day, he tells her, study and make something of yourself. In the evenings, Shirley listens in as her father and friends discuss politics, how poor people are being mistreated, and that folks should fight for their rights. She learns about a man named W.E.B. Du Bois, who spoke of Negro rights, and Marcus Garvey, who spoke of Black pride. By the time Shirley begins girls' high school, her mother is warning, come straight home, focus on your homework and piano practice. No pop music, absolutely no boys. Shirley breaks curfew. She let boys walk her to the door, and instead of classical music, she plays jazz. That young lady is rebellious. Mother tries to explain that she's strict because she wants Shirley to grow up and be someone. Now meet 17-year-old Shirley, a smart young lady who attends Brooklyn College. She studies sociology and Spanish. It isn't acceptable for Black women to study politics or law, but that doesn't stop her from joining the Political Science Society. After graduation, Shirley tries to get a job as a teacher, but over and over she is told she doesn't look old enough. She finally exclaims to a nursery school director, "Give me a chance to find out whether I can do the job." That woman is persistent, and on the spot, the director of Mount Calvary Child Care Center hires Shirley as a teacher's aide. After work, Shirley travels more than an hour by subway to take classes at Columbia University Teachers College. She attends political meetings too. When she has a question, Shirley bravely thrusts her hand into the air. She asks, "Where's the money to make schools better in her Bedford Stuyvesant community? Why isn't trash picked up regularly? Why can't Bed-Stuy have as much police protection as other districts?" That woman is too persistent. Politicians promise to help, but don't. So Shirley joins the 17th Assembly District Democratic Club. During a time when women members can only do chores like writing thank you cards. Each year, the club holds a banquet to raise money, and the donations are collected in cigar boxes. Shirley's role? Cigar box decorator. She paints glue pictures and makes the boxes so dazzling that people can't help but give. Still, Shirley wants to know, why are only women making cards and decorating boxes? Why should we put up with this? Yeah, echo the other women. Why should we put up with this? That Shirley is a troublemaker. Finally, the club sends a letter thanking Shirley for her hard work and kicking her out. Shirley isn't bothered. After all, people don't have to be members to attend meetings or to ask questions. When she is 25 years old, Shirley St. Hill marries her college sweetheart, Conrad Chisolm. Meet Shirley Chisolm, a busy young woman who still asks way too many questions. Teaching now takes over her life. At 29, she becomes director of the Friend in Need Nursery School. And a year later, director of the Hamilton Madison Child Care Center. In her community, politicians keep making promises, yet nothing changes. So Shirley steps her white Oxford heels back into politics. She helps create the Unity Democratic Club. She works to organize after-school programs for kids and improve housing conditions for inner-city neighborhoods. She organizes voters, stuffs envelopes, and circulates petitions. A seat in the New York State Assembly opens, but there's one problem. It has always been made up of daring, rebellious, persistent white men. Shirley isn't deterred. During the campaign, words, and more words were thrown at her. Shouldn't you be cleaning your house? Have you cooked your husband's breakfast yet? Women ought to take care of their families, not run for office. Shirley hears only the most important words from her father long ago. Make something of yourself. Election night, 1964. The votes are tallied: 18,149, 18,150, 18,151. 20,957 votes have been cast, and Shirley Chisolm wins by more than 16,000. Over the next 3 years, Shirley introduces bills to help disadvantaged students pay for college and to give unemployment insurance to domestic workers. She speaks up so much that assemblymen complain. When she refuses to follow their rules, they call her a bossy troublemaker. When she challenges them, they mutter that she doesn't belong. What does Shirley do? She runs for Congress. She posts signs and hands out flyers, talks to ladies sitting on park benches and men standing on street corners, visits housing projects, churches, and living rooms too. She works and works and works. Her campaign slogan is unbought and unbossed. Her fellow assemblymen refuse to support her. Even reporters ignore her, only interviewing her opponent. Shirley protests. Who are you? They retort. Just a little school teacher who happened to go to the assembly? Hasn't Shirley helped students pay for college? Hasn't she proposed bills to fund daycare centers? Hasn't she organized rallies, driven voters to the polls, and fought for the rights of the poor? But could she? Dare she win? Election night, 1968. The votes are tallied: 34,883, 34,884, 34,885. 52,433 votes are cast. Shirley Chisolm wins by more than 21,000 votes. This daring, rebellious, persistent troublemaker is the first African American woman elected to Congress. And she never stops asking questions. The end. Yes, indeed. Shirley Chisolm dared. One of the reasons why I chose this book is, again, like I stated before, there's a movie out now on Netflix where Regina King is playing her. And even though, we should not look to those movies or even documentaries as the way in which you stop your research. You don't look at these movies or documentaries and say, okay, I've done my research on a person. Use those as entry points. And even with this book. So that was the reason why I said, well, let me read this book, because there are a lot of people, including myself. I mean, I knew about her, but I didn't know like her background, right? I knew that she was, an immigrant. I knew that her family was not from here. I just did not know where. So here it says, in the book, she was from Barbados, and then it went into talking about her foundation, talking about where she got this spirit of, when I see injustice, I'm going to speak up. And these are the things that our children, and in particular our Black children, they need to know. They need to know the standards that the shoulders that our people have stood on. They need to know their foundation. They need to know what kind of background they came from, because it's a reminder for our young people to appreciate their families, to always make sure when they do achieve success, that they always start with their foundation. They do never, ever, ever forget where they come from, and never be embarrassed. Never, be unafraid to talk about, okay, well, these are the things that I was raised with. This is what my parents taught me. This is where we live. This was our plight. These were the things that we struggled with. And even, the fact of how the parents, they had took the girls and they had to stay away with their family. And it was for like 6 years. These are things that are not unfamiliar to the Black community. There are plenty of people in our community in which the parents wind up, they migrated here, especially if they were migrating through the Great Migration from the South to the North. And some of them had to leave their children behind. They had to get raised by Big Mama or Mud Deer or somebody in the family. These are things that's a part of our Black culture, our traditions, and we should be proud of those things, and we should understand as well why those things occurred. All right, so with that being said, I hope that you all got a little bit more insight into who Shirley Chisholm is, and this doesn't mean that even when we are learning about different people in our history, that we're going to agree with their politics, or agree with everything that they've done. But one of the takeaways that I hope that we all get is that we must continue to be persistent. We don't give up. When we see things that need to be spoken up about, we make sure that we do that. Even if our voices shake, even if we may stumble over our words, we may forget certain things, or whatever the case may be. Just be sure that we must have conviction. We must be persistent. We must have the attitude and the spirit of, when we are speaking out against these injustices, especially as it pertains to Black people, the things that we've endured and we continue to endure, we have to keep on keeping on. And this is all hands on deck. It wasn't just men, it was women as well. It was both. All of us, community together, and young people. Just like as we saw in the book, and listen to the story, she started off young. All right. We have to make sure that we're telling our kids, don't just think that your youth is to just be wasted. We have to guide our children into what are some things that they can do, what are some things that they do well and things that they love, and that can not only help their families, but help the community. So they have to be taught that young so that when they get older, inshallah, God willing, it will stick with them. It will be a part of their foundation. All right. So I'm about to sign off. I thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining me. And remember, please, as you all see the ticker at the bottom, if you would like to help us out with our goal, which is to distribute 10,000 books by the end of this year, please go to our Cash App, $ABC Read. Make sure that you go to our website, abcread.org. This is how we are able to get these types of books, and we're able to give to the community. We also accept donations as well. Please go to our website. Our new address is on the website. So you guys, if you want to donate books, yes, you can send those books and it'll go to our new ABC Read home so that we can get those books into the hands of our communities. All right. So with all that being said, thank you all for listening. My name is Miss Sasha. Please make sure that you keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And remember, just like my shirt says, reading is freedom. Go to the website, readingisfreedom.store, so you can have your shirt as well, because we need to create those conversations as it pertains to literacy and empowerment in our communities. All right, y'all. Peace.